If you watched my last video on how to get rid of dark under eye circles, I'm picking up where I left off. That's where we're gonna be heading from this morning, okay? Like in this particular video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to get rid of the red around your nose, how to get rid of cake face, especially along the nose and in the like in the cheeks, and then in your T-zone. And then I have acne scars right here. What I do to kind of get rid of that showing through with my makeup. And if you find that your makeup does not stick on your nose or in your cheeks, sometimes in your forehead, reason why is just because the makeup looks really cakey on those areas. A lot of times it has to do with the fact that those areas, they're oily areas, and the makeup just does not sit in there very well, and whenever the oil comes through, it just looks so patchy. I have tried so many methods from other people and it just never would work for me. So the first thing that I've done, obviously, if you watched my last video, was I got rid of the dark under eye circles. I had washed my face and then moisturized, and then I put this all over my face. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. It just puts on like a really good foundation for the foundation, so it's a really good base. So I'll use this, and then the next thing that I did was I used the Milani setting spray. Most of the time I feel like I get my clothes set better than I do my face half the time. This is the Wet n Wild concealer brush, because around my nose is really red, and then in this area is really red, and then down here is more like red purpley. I will be going and using the green and then this coral looking color, and then just go around my nose, and I kind of just pat it in there, and I do kind of come up through like up here, just because I have red all right there, and you can kind of see how red it is, like all through here. That is nasty. Ugh. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna correct my nose, because I would always find, and still do, well, if I don't do this, that my foundation will still show that red. And I'm just gonna kind of go up into here. Then I'm gonna just kind of hit these little areas on my chin, and the primer gives you an even texture, because this is very textured, just from doing what you ain't supposed to do. You ain't supposed to be popping them in, but I do. I just go up in here and I pat that in, and then I will do these over here and add a little bit more, because I can see right through it. If I can see right through it, I'm going to go back in and add a little bit more of the concealer. Then I'll use my IT Cosmetics brush bath and spray that on there, and then wipe it off so that I can immediately use it, and that there will be no hindrance with the green and the other color that I'm using mixing on my brush, so that I don't want it to mix to the point where I'm not able to get that color that I'm supposed to be covering up. So now that I have that clean, see, oh, shiny. And I'm going to use this coral looking one, and you can see that I've already been digging in that. I don't really have to use any of it in this vicinity, but I use it in here because I can see some of that. And I just go around in those circles. You have to do what's best for you and figure out what colors work for you. I'm going to set it again. And that's going to give it a little bit of moisture. I don't know why I just sprayed my ear, but anyway. So it'll give it a little bit of moisture. And it'll make it easier to blend it all in with my beauty blender. It's still dirty from the last time that I used it. And pat all of that in to basically blend it so that you don't see green through the makeup. Is corrected, but you're not going to be able to see it through my makeup. So now I'm going to go down in here and just fix all this, pat all that in. And I don't wipe it, because if I wipe it, then it's wiping it off. So what I'm trying to do is just set it in there so that it'll stay. And I'm going to use this again. And I know you're probably thinking, wow, that girl has to be going through this mess like crazy. But this is really what works for me. I mean, I have tried and tried and tried and tried and tried to find so many different things. And I mean, nothing works for me. So all I did that time was in here and then in here. My lips look crazy. Ew. What is that? Right now, I'm actually really, really loving the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion Foundation. And I've never been a cushion foundation person. I'm using the in 3.5. This is what it looks like. It comes with like a little pad, but I've already thrown it away. And I don't use the pad just because I don't really like those that much. So I'm going to use this Crown Cosmetics brush that I got in a BoxyCharm, and I have grown to love it. You would not believe how much you get off in this brush from this little thing. So I learned that from experience. I thought I didn't have any on there, and then when I went to put it on my face, there was so much. Like, I had so much on there that it covered my whole entire face. I'm going to kind of tap that in there just like that, and then you can actually see that it's on my brush. Well, you can't really see it, but I can. This is a buildable luminous foundation, and typically I would always stay away from luminous foundations because I did not want any shine at all. But now I actually use this one, and it really helps with the look that I'm trying to achieve. So I try to just make sure that I have those places that I've corrected with my palette. I try to make sure that I have those very covered up. Okay, and then I'm going to move to my forehead. I feel like I had a little tickle there. So I'm going to use this all over my forehead and go up into my hairline. And sometimes it gets on my hair, but that's just the name of the game. I have it on my face, but now I need to do it on my nose. I get only like a little bit of here, and I've already done it, so I don't want to do it again. But I only get a little bit of that, of the foundation on my brush, and then I just tap it onto my nose, basically to get it in those pores. And then, I mean, I do so little that I constantly have to go back into the foundation, but I'm okay with that. Because I don't want it to already appear cakey on my face. And I make sure that I get it in those creases really well. But now the huge issue with it is up here. So I tap it in there because I don't want it wiping. If you have enlarged pores on your nose and even in your cheeks, tap it into my cheeks so that it's getting into that pore. I just look in the mirror really close and I see that it's looking kind of cakey. And I don't know if you can see it, but this is what I mean by cakey. So what I do is I will actually kind of use my beauty blender and blend, kind of get that blended in pretty good. And that will get that cake off. Now it does not look like that at all. You can see the difference, but pretty much it's wiped off that makeup. I'm going to use this Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm going to dip my finger in there and just get a little bit on there. Because sometimes why this gets cakey is because it's producing a lot of oil. So that mixed with the foundation is making it look that way. So I take what's on my finger and I just dot it right in here. It's going to dry that oil up underneath. It might seem crazy, but this is what I started doing, and it helped. Because your girl was having some serious issues. Then I'm gonna take my beauty blender again and just pat it in there, and it's wet, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna pat it into that pore, and I need to make sure that I have the tip of this nose covered. Pat that in. Now you cannot even tell that. It looks covered up. I'm gonna go back on top of that, on top of the powder, which makes no sense, and it's basically everything that you've ever been told not to do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put foundation on top of it. You don't wanna have a whole lot on there, but then I'm gonna tap it. I'm going to apply my Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer, and I'm going to use that all over my nose and all like the goodness. Okay, so I dot it just like this, and I will go up into my T-zone. And I don't make any like cute designs, I just kind of do whatever. So then I will go into my Cupid's bow, put a little here, and then go down into my chin, do that. And then I will typically do my eyes, but I've already kind of done them. So I'm just gonna, you know, go up a little bit just to show you. Down into this area, just for highlighting purposes. Take my wet beauty blender again and blend all of that in. I don't know what is up with my camera, but it keeps on like cutting off. I have no idea what the poop is going on. So where my stuff just left off, I was blending in my concealer, and I had it all down here and I was going in. The next thing that I did was I took my Laura Mercier translucent powder with a damp beauty blender, dip it in there, and then it'll come out like this right here. I'll press it into my nose area. And you want to do this because they're producing oil. So what you're doing is you're putting this into those pores, and you're just like gently patting it and setting it into, my nose looks crazy, as well as in your cheeks. You're setting it in there just like this. Then, you know, you want to go all up in here and set that in there. And then you want to go into your creases right in here, where you crease really bad under your eyes, and then up here so that you don't crease with your eyeshadow. I also did down here, so you can see that this powder is still here. This is actually a bronzer brush, but I use it for this because all I'm doing is I'm gently sweeping this powder, this excess powder, off of my face. And generally, people call that baking. You put your powder on your face and then you let it sit so that it absorbs those oils and so that you don't have any creases in your makeup. So right now I am just, my nose is not cakey in the slightest bit. I don't know if you can see it, but it's not cakey at all. I'm not gonna say I promise you, because I watched other tutorials and that's what I was told, was that you know, you wouldn't have any more cake face if you followed their directions, and I did, and I would have cake face, but whatever. So I just kind of had to sit down and come up with something that was better for me. So that's what I did. If you like this video and it works for you, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to turn on the little bell to have an alert every single time that I post a new video. Yeah, have an awesome day.